Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another crypto stream. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Huge news that happened today. Everything just kind of hit us all at once to the point where we had a huge pump. I will be the first to admit I regret not entering those positions that I was talking about last night. Those being, I have it written down, an entry on Sui, an entry on Cardano, a double down entry on Hyperliquid because I already had a position open. I wanted to enter more. And the one trade-off was selling Bitcoin, which I didn't do, as you can see. And sure, I guess I'm kind of glad I didn't sell it, but it's really not a big difference. I went from like $10 right over here last night to now plus 27. So from plus 10 to plus 27, you do the math. It's not that big of a deal. But nonetheless, every other crypto has gone up quite significantly, Chainlink included. I've already taken some profits. We'll go analyze what I did. I don't even know what I did, but we'll figure it out. I put a take profit there, the long story short. Now, like I said, we do got a lot of stuff to talk about in terms of stories, in terms of executive orders that were signed by Trump, lawsuits getting settled, tons of stuff. So stick around for that. We'll get around to the news segments around a minute 20, usually. So things are looking really good. Bitcoin has risen 1.95%, almost 2%, 117K, finally hit that mark. We are expecting to see some resistance at 118K, at least that's the level that I have drawn. We're still a little far from that, so maybe we could continue. I don't think we can, though, at this current moment, because we're evidently struggling at the downtrend line that I had drawn over here. A lot of people are thinking, okay, do we have the enough strength to continue forward? I think we will. But, people are concerned with this downtrend line. So obviously there's going to be some profit taking, some selling off, and that seems to be happening around this 117,000 mark. We reached a high so far of 117,579. So not too far off, I guess, from the 118,000 anyway. That is where a super trend would invalidate those. So we do got to rise above that to break out of those levels. We have not entered overbought territory yet. RSI momentum indicator still at 66. That has to cross above 70 in order for us to see a possible, a pullback from the rise that we are currently experiencing. I entered a position 113,632. I'm not going to touch this for now. I will have a look at my other positions. I think I'm mainly going to base it off what I do with Solana. Alright, well, here comes the yawning again. Okay, so, what do we got? Literally, I was not yawning before this. Now that I start talking, I start yawning. Maybe it's just the gaming chair, the comfortable chair. It makes me want to sleep. So here are my positions that are currently open. Solana making 80, pretty good. Hyperliquid, I could have doubled down on it. It's going up quite significantly. Opened it at 38, it's at 40 right now. We're making 56 right there, and Bitcoin is making me 26, 27 approximately. So what I was trying to do here is maybe wait for Solana to hit 100, take some profits for Solana. And of course, by the time Solana goes up, so should Hyperliquid and so should Bitcoin. Probably where both of these combined, Hyperliquid and Bitcoin, would give me another $100. It's kind of what I'm hoping to get from it. But we'll see if we can continue with the rise. Moving on to our next token. Wow, just look at this. Perfect slowdown right over here on that resistance and the downtrend. Keep in mind, this is the Ethereum downtrend from the all-time high level we saw in 2021. Second point is December 2024. And we are, I did not know what I just did there. We are currently about to hit that level once again over here for the second week in a row. It's looking weaker and weaker, this downtrend. Once we do break that, Ethereum is going to continue much higher. A lot of the short positions, they're practically gone. If you do have any shorts to be liquidated, that's above $4,000. we can head much higher for Ethereum. A lot of bullish news I've got for Ethereum as well that we'll be discussing. Super trend has already flipped bullish as of, when did this happen? Overnight. And it's invalidating at 3,500. The current price of Ethereum, 3,890. We reached a high of 3,935. Almost where we hit 3,941 last time, 28th of July. We're already back up there. Breaking out of course, this would explode us above 4,000. And it's also a very psychological level. But keep in mind, this is also a level that a lot of people would probably want to take some profits. Myself included. We'll see, though. Might regret not taking profits, but I don't know. I'm liking this growth over here with Ethereum. I still think we can head much higher if I'm just patient with it. So I think I will do that. We completely ripped out of this resistance, by the way, completely ignoring that. 3,825. And our drawdown wasn't too significant either. We hit a low of 3,355 on August 2nd, right? So it wasn't that bad for Ethereum either. Things are looking really good. Almost up 6% today, yep. Solana up 3.54%. It's surprisingly, it hasn't gone up as much, right? Look at this perfect entry, by the way. I'm just so good. This is never going to happen. I'm deleting this order. We happened to head higher over here and slow down at this resistance of 175, a level I was prominently advising you guys we can easily hit. For Solana, I could have put a take profit there. I think I even talked about that, but I just didn't do it, so whatever. We're at currently 173.88. We could absolutely hit that level once again. Breaking out of the downtrend very soon. Of course, if we can close above 175, it should flip the super trend back in our favor, like that. And would give us the room to head much higher, of course. Next resistance you're looking at is 181, and then 186, 187. It's the next resistance right here. Can I draw a perfect circle? And then 195, then 206. From there, we would have to go with a much further scale distance for where the next resistance levels will be, because we have some history from 2024, late 2024 and early 2025 in January especially, when Solana hit an all-time high of almost $300. That was an important level. I don't know if we will necessarily be able to hit that once again. I think we will eventually. The issue with that rise of Solana almost hitting 300 was because of Trump releasing his meme coin on Solana. Couple things to keep in mind now. Meme coins, of course, bad reputation as always, but I mean, when they're hot, they're hot. They start trending like crazy and get rise in popularity very fast, regardless of their bad reputation. Trump meme coin is no longer on Solana, it is now on Tron. Tron is no longer on Solana, it is now their own blockchain once again. So Justin Sun got his win there. And in terms of, you know, meme coin popularity, what would measure that? Sure, it is still all being done on Solana, so you will get some of that movement visible on Solana's price action, but now most of that attention is drawn to the ICO that is using Solana to release meme coins, that of course being Pump.fun. And you've also got other tokens like Memecore, which I've noticed is going around there. They already had an event. There's an event sell-off right now, so it's not rising like the rest of the tokens, but has to do with memes. And when memes get popular, instead of picking out what exactly the biggest meme coin that will rise is going to be, because you don't know that, you can just invest in one of these meme coin providers, Memecore or Pump Fun. In the good old days, like last year, it was all just, okay, if you want to, you know, good stuff with meme coins, that's Solana. And that's why Solana, of course, raised in popularity significantly because of its meme coin accessibility. Hi, Bradley. Welcome. So that's what we got for those. XRP, spoiler alert, they won a lawsuit against the Securities Exchange Commission for the 11th time. So there you go. You're having another one of those pumps that I mentioned. XRP will always have a crazy large pump, prolonged decay, and then another fundamental will just spark another pump easily, just like that. Ripping out of this resistance 324, we reached a high of 333. We are now drawing back to 328. Super trend has been flipped bullish. Downtrend has officially been broken. We can now keep this as the uptrend. And yes, this indeed is the level that we will continue with. This was the bottom at, what was it, 272 approximately. And you'll notice super trend is right on that uptrend line. So it's perfectly coinciding with what we've got drawn. Next level, resistance to 358, and then all-time high 366 for XRP. In terms of supports, I think we could hover above 324 for a while, almost 325, really. Next coin. Oh, but like, by the way, it's up 10% XRP. Forgot to mention that, I think. SUI, just because it's SUI, is almost up that exact same amount on a normal day. 8% up, 3.75 is the current price, hovering around this zone in between 382 and 371. The current price is 375, so yeah, kind of chilling out right there. This little downtrend that we had drawn is technically broken, and that's what made me want to enter yesterday, but I didn't because I'm just so smart. I was wondering because, like, okay, we are technically in a downtrend. Slowing down at this level makes sense because what if this happens, right? We could just continue dropping. But I didn't expect a pump like this to happen overnight, of course. So when we were here last night on yesterday's stream, I was expecting us to, yeah, sure, we could maybe get a rise to here, but we could possibly continue dropping. And I was hoping that it would execute this trigger order at the very least, due to the fact that we have this going on, the super trend heading down and down, right? So based off of that line, I was hoping we could, like, I don't know, draw a new downtrend. Let me just, something like this, right? If you pay attention to my blue lines, I was hoping price action would do something like this, right? A double top over here and continue lower. But no, it actually broke out of that, continued higher. So I don't have a clear downtrend to draw one out right now. So yeah. What do you mean, why is the down in green, Bradley? I mean, like, if you're talking about the trends being down, but the price is still green, like, yeah, this is just intraday pricing. But you have to look at it from a more broader scale. Because sure, you'll have one day that goes against the trend out of maybe 4 days that go with the trend. You'll notice, like, over here, price has been going down. And we just had a couple of days, like one day, all these candles could be 1 or 2 days of recovery, green days. And then you got another red day. And then yesterday was a slightly green day. And I was expecting us to go back to a red day, but we didn't. We just continued much higher. So today's a huge green day. And fair enough, we got a lot of good fundamentals coming out today. So there is news driven behind the rises today. Organic growth is what we'd like to see. You know, nothing shady, nothing speculative, nothing crazy going on. So it's valid. If we can't break above 382, we'll be at 393, almost $4 by then. Like, that's far to nothing. Actually, deleting this. We knew where we were dropping to. I don't think I'll need this trigger order anymore. So I'm going to remove it. And in terms of resistances, that's what we want to see. Coincides with pivot at 371. Okay, so from 371 to 382, that's where we're ranging. $4, of course, is the next major resistance after that. Of course, if we can break above the 382, 385 approximately, could easily take us to $4. That's a better analysis for it. Unless this was the top for today. Like, because like I said, we could just do this, right? that is the case, we would just readjust the downtrend to look something like this, right? Or wherever we top out. That could still be the case. Like, we're technically in a downtrend for it, so keep your eyes peeled. That's all I'm going to say for it. But if you were lucky enough to pay attention to me yesterday and did what I was thinking of doing, but I didn't do, then yeah, you could have made a good return today so far. Moving on to Litecoin. Also, you know, it officially, I would say, broke out of its all-time high downtrend. We have a beautiful uptrend going on. Litecoin, one of the first few coins of becoming super green compared to the rest. We're keeping up with that momentum slightly today. 3% up, 122.45 is the current price. I could remove this. We could draw fib extension now because it's uncharted territory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to daily chart. I will use, is this 22nd of June? Yes, I'm using this level for a fib extension. Please stop. Trend-based fib extension from this low point, June 22nd war, to the high point of July 23, to the low point of recently August 1st. And that should give us our new levels. First one's coinciding there. Looks good. This spike up in price might have just been volume driven. All this hype where Litecoin reached a high of 129. But after that, we're looking at an organic growth of 131 and then 139, 149. Those could be the next interesting levels, of course. So we'll see how it plays out. Excited for Litecoin. Good stuff. Cardano, also similar deal to what I was seeing with Sui yesterday. I was like, yeah, we technically did break out of the downtrend over here. I could just buy and maybe see what happens. I didn't. And yeah, you get the same analysis as I would have given with Sui, right? First, we have to find where we could see some resistance levels. So now that we have a bottom, draw that out. Going to be ranging in here. Same deal with Sui, right? So for Cardano's prices, Cardano language, we've got 78 to 79 cents. That's where we currently are right now, 78 and a half. Can break out of this downtrend, and the super trend should flip bullish once again. We could hit 80 cents easily. I don't know about this resistance level, but we'll see where it takes us afterward. Because, yeah, this is an unexpected turnaround of events. You shouldn't really focus too much on technical analysis, especially when there's fundamentals pushing things forward. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so it's a 50-50. All right, but 6% up today for Cardano, really good. Chainlink is among the top, 9% up today, almost 10%. I sold at this line. It went up a little bit higher than that, which fair enough, you know. I saw this and I was like, you know, we could see some resistance. I was wrong. It continued going higher. So we bottomed out here. This limit order will never be filled. Neither will this. So I will be closing both of those out. Just resistance levels. Where could we have seen Chainlink slow down at? It's literally where it is right now. So, I mean, I sold at one of these lines, right? Position history. How much did I even make on this? 140 is what I made. I sold on 1807. Yeah, so slightly higher than this. 1807 was like around over here. That's not too bad, actually. It's almost where it is right now. But sure, it did go higher. We reached a high of 1867. I probably would have made another $10, $20. Is it a really big deal? No. I was expecting a bit of a slowdown here as well, because we do also converge with this longer term downtrend. Although super trend doesn't necessarily reflect that, it's already telling us we have an uptrend, and this is the uptrend that we should be following, where it invalidates at 16. We've still got a good run left for Chainlink here. Seems like. We can see a bit of a slowdown, of course. Resistances, that's normal. But once we, you know, reaccumulate and continue higher, we should be fine once again. 19's next resistance after that, and then, well, 1925. And then the highest point that we reached, of course, the $20.28. That's what you got for Chainlink. Okay. And Hyperliquid also making a bit of a move today, so that's good. And it can continue higher is what I like about Hyperliquid. So that's what I'm waiting on right here with these positions. If Solana can make me 100, Hyperliquid would make me probably 80, and Bitcoin, whatever Bitcoin will do here, maybe 30 instead of 25. Yeah, that should be $100 between Bitcoin and Hype combined, and then Solana 100 on its own. That'll be an easy $200. Where's my unrealized profits right now? 166. So still got some room left to run. So in total, if they make me another $40, I'll be closing out of those positions. They're very tiny. I did enter really well. Wish I would have entered millions, of course. Could have made some more millions. But whatever. If you put in hundreds, you'll make hundreds. If you put in thousands, you'll make thousands. If you put in millions, you'll make millions. And that is why people do this. Because the potential is infinite, right? Yeah. Hyperliquid, of course, has to do with Solana. They're Solana DeFi, or a DEX, not a DeFi. So, yeah, they got some room left to run still, so I'll keep my eyes peeled for that. Bitcoin can also just continue slightly elevating to 118K. That would be great. Why am I putting in hundreds? Because I'm broke. That's why. I don't want people to know how much money I have. Although you could kind of see it over here. But like, this is not all of it, of course. I have more on the other account. I just send it over here just so that I could trade live. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm not too sure about the positions that I'm entering over here. Because keep this in the back of your mind. We saw Bitcoin... Let me go to a weekly chart to kind of give you a bit of a backstory. You saw this over here, right? Bitcoin, the first time in December, January, hitting 110,000. That was really good. And then everybody started buying. There's no way we're going to see 70 or 80,000 ever again. Well, we did. And a lot of people lost their money. I didn't lose, but I suffered with a lot of altcoins. I did lose a lot of money. So... if you could reaccumulate, if you still had faith in these projects, in the grimmest of times when people thought this was over, no, it continued much higher. We actually recovered and went higher over here. And the fact that you know you've experienced this drop from 110,000 to 74,000, the price of Bitcoin, you're like, man, in a time of crisis like that, you wish you had all that money that you were DCAing all the way up here thinking like, oh, Bitcoin's not going to drop less than 100,000. It did. It's not going to drop less than 90,000. It did. 80,000. It did. Boom. We hit 74,000. So that was like a shock to a lot of people. And it's not just Bitcoin. It was worse for a lot of altcoins. Solana, we never saw Solana below 112,000 last year for the most part. Earlier in the year, yes, for 2024. But now this year for Solana, let me just give you it as an example because it was the worst one in my opinion. We saw a low of 95. Like, that is not something we saw at all in the year before. I mean, after February, of course. Like, lowest point was this one right over here. Whatever this is. Low point of this candle, 109. 109,000, not 112. But it's still like, okay. So things can, of course, crash far hard from grace. You see over here, like, Solana being at 300, dropping all the way to 95, losing 2/3 of its value in just a matter of months, 2 months, maybe. I could probably tell the time here. 14 months. Oh, that's a year. No, that's 14 million. I'm crazy. 84 days. Great. Now I have to do math. That's 3 months, right? 90 days is 3 months. So within 3 months, you have a drop of that kind of scale in Solana. Do you even have faith in this project anymore? Do you even have enough money to DCA in, right? Because you're seeing Solana at 300 and thinking like, oh, Solana's now, what, 200? I could absolutely buy thousands in here. And then it just keeps on dropping and it keeps on dropping. And you're out of money. So that's why I know it's not a lot that I'm putting in. I could put thousands in, and I do usually. Like, that is my usual move. I'll put 1,000 in, 3x leverage. like 80% of the time. So I've been doing that, and especially on Ethereum, for example. I've been doing that on Ethereum, right over here, about 3,000, 4,000. Divide Ethereum in 3, right? If it drops $1,000, you lose the third of the value of Ethereum, right? At 3,000, let's just say, for example. We had Ethereum drop from 4,000 to 1,384. Nobody survived this crash. Not even a 2x leverage could save you from this crash, but because we lost, what is this value loss? 66% of its value, right? Over half. Like, and once again, 2/3 of its value just gone. No amount of leverage could have saved you there. So I was stuck from all the way up here putting every $100, I was putting in $1,000, until around like 2,700, I think. I ran out. Because it wasn't just in Ethereum I was doing this. I was doing it in a lot of other coins as well, especially Bitcoin. And it just kept on dropping, and I lost a lot on this. So, you know, at these high prices, I'll just use a little bit of money just for fun, right? See if I'm right sometimes, see if I'm wrong sometimes. If I'm wrong, it is what it is. I'll lose a little bit. And I don't know, let's just say Ethereum just does a drop of this kind of scale, where we're at 2,800 again. Yeah, I'll start putting in some more money. Look, checking fundamentals, of course. Are we getting bombarded with tariffs or World War III or anything of that scale? No, then sure, I'll put in some thousands in there. The thousands that I would have put up here. Yeah. But, I mean, there's some people who say, like, you know, with these small dips like this, drop a lot in because it's going to recover and it's going to go higher. That works until it doesn't. And you're going to lose a lot, significantly. The little bit of money that you would have made on a rebound, it's going to be a significant loss, especially when you're getting all these margin calls. So that's why I'm being a little bit more careful with it. I learned from it, so it's all part of the learning experience. I've outpaced my losses, not to brag, but like, I'm just saying this humbly and thankfully, right? Great, being gracious about it. I'm not in any trouble with that. So I'm fine for now. I'm even considering taking some more profits from stuff I've been holding for a long time. And there's still stuff that I do hold that are still not even in the positive. Like, that's how, like, these drops I've been holding on to for a long time. I still have positions on Solana that are above 200 from these drops over here. I still have those positions open. I'm paying lots in funding fees, but with the hope that Solana, of course, will one day rise above, well above $200. I still think it will, of course. So, yeah, that's my little philosophy there. Cool. Nothing changed. All right, I will move on to the news segment. I spent a lot of time talking about technical analysis, huh? All right, so here's the first thing in the news. Why XRP is doing this. Because SEC and Ripple, they concluded their XRP lawsuit. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission and Ripple Labs have dismissed all appeals in their legal battle over XRP, ending a case that began in December 2020. A court previously ruled that XRP sales on public exchanges did not constitute securities, while institutional sales violated security laws, resulting in a $125 million fine for Ripple. This resolution eliminates further litigation and provides regulatory clarity for the cryptocurrency. Big win for Ripple holders. So they're celebrating with a 10% pump today. That's all there is to it. I remember it got appealed again, and like right after we thought it was all over, like there's many times that this kind of announcement has come out, like, oh, they're done with the case, they're done with the case, and then it just gets appealed again. And it's like, all right, who are we kidding here? Okay, and now, this, I mentioned yesterday that this was going to happen this week, and it happened today. The replacement for Fed Kugler, Adriana Kugler, the Federal Reserve governor lady who resigned, is now being replaced by Stephen Moran. He's a pro-crypto person appointed by President Trump. Her resignation becomes effective Friday, so that's when this guy will step in, which will be tomorrow. So we now have the next guy ready, and he's pro crypto, which is good. This should obviously increase the chances, of course, of getting any rate cuts. I want to check what the percentages are right now. Flashbang warning. 92% chance we get a rate cut in the next meeting 40 days from now in September 17. Good stuff. And of course, if this person being appointed by Trump, Trump knows who to appoint in order to... I slapped my mic like twice, by the way. I'm sorry. Trump knows who to pick, of course, so that he can get his crypto policies in. And also somebody who he knows will vote for rate cuts on a consistent basis. He doesn't like Jerome Powell, of course, because of that. He's the one that's always been against cutting rates for all these months, all these past meetings, due to fears, of course, with inflation and tariffs, to see how economic data plays out. He's being a little extra cautious, but Trump took it the wrong way. He said, oh, you're being political, you're doing this to, you know, ruin my reputation, you're costing America billions of dollars. So, yeah. I should stream on Twitch. I probably should. I gotta figure out how multi-streaming works. I have not tried that. Yeah, maybe I will. I don't know. I'm not big enough yet, but I gotta grow, so. Yeah. Yeah, I was late as well on the flashbang warning. Get ready, 3, 2, 1, flashbang. All right, there, closed out. Now, this is what Trump posted on Twitter. Not on Twitter. He posted this on Truth Social. I always mix it up. He says he has chosen Dr. Stephen Moran, current chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, to serve in the just vacated seat of the Federal Reserve Board until January 31st, 2026. Oh, that's actually a really short lifespan. In the meantime, we will continue to search for a permanent replacement. Okay, so he's just something temporary is what it seems like. This guy, Steven, he's got a PhD in economics from Harvard University. He served with distinction in the first administration. He's been with Trump from the beginning of the second term, and his expertise in the world of economics is unparalleled. He will do an outstanding job. Congratulations, Steven. Cool. So maybe he's just using it to, you know, hey, by the way, you're going to vote for those rates to get cut, won't you? It feels like that's what's happening there. This is the biggest news that we've got today. President Trump signs the executive order allowing cryptocurrencies in 401k retirement plans today. And it also includes other stuff. I think it said real estate and some other irrelevant assets. But cryptocurrency is the main one. There you go. If you got a 401k, you live in the United States, you want to save for retirement, you can now invest in crypto. It's not just the stock market that you can invest in, which is big. Do you guys know the amount of money that is currently in 401k plans? That number, according to AI, I thought it was 9 trillion. It's apparently $12.2 trillion. $12.2 trillion. I'm not saying all this money is going to go into the crypto market cap, but if it does, man, that'll be crazy. And, okay, first of all, that number is going to grow. The $12 trillion is going to grow because more and more people are being born into the United States and will be saving up for retirement. The boomers will be replaced, of course, by the zoomers. People our age. They're going to start, of course, hearing about, oh, you can save into crypto now. Okay, sure, I'll save some money in crypto. And that'll just keep on growing stuff. One thing I do have my doubts about is I don't think you're investing into crypto directly. You're probably doing that through like an ETF, some institutions, probably. But still, like, that's what the ETFs are for. So I guess it makes sense. No, but I think it is cryptocurrency. It's got to be, right? Right? I don't even know. That's the one thing I don't know for sure. Like, are we investing in crypto directly, or are we investing in something that will invest in it for us, right? Nonetheless, if we're giving that entity some money to invest in crypto, like that money is going into crypto. It has to, right? It'll drive the volume up and raise everything. Just for scale, $12 trillion compared to crypto's market cap right now. Let me go to here. The current crypto market cap, all the money that is in crypto, right? From everywhere in the world. That totals to 3.82 trillion. It's up 2% today, by the way. 3.82 trillion. That's almost $4 trillion. With, I don't know if I'm going to get this math right. $12 trillion on top of the 4 trillion. I don't even want to do the math. Let's just put it all in Bitcoin. It'll be easier to do it this way. The current market cap of Bitcoin is 2.3 trillion. Okay, cool. That means 3.82 minus 2.32, I guess. $1.5 trillion is in altcoins and stable coins and everything else that is not Bitcoin, right? Fair enough. Now, we'll focus on Bitcoin specifically. 2.32 trillion market cap. If we were to increase that, let's just say, sure, the $12 trillion, 12.2. Okay, hold on. I don't know why I closed that. 12 trillion, 200 billion, million, thousand, hundred? Am I doing these numbers right? 100,000, million, billion, trillion. Yes. Plus the current market cap of Bitcoin, 2,326,904,574,369. That's going to be the new market cap of Bitcoin. And if we divide that, I hope I'm doing this math right. I'm going to copy this number. By the circulating supply of Bitcoin, 19 million Bitcoins, 900. That's 19 million. You can see Bitcoin's price rise to $730,000 per Bitcoin from 116,000. If all that $12 trillion just suddenly appeared on Bitcoin. Now that obviously is not going to happen, okay? I'm just giving you like a huge like best case scenario hypothetical, right? But it's not going to happen. Why? Because it's a lot of older people, admittedly, that are invested in that already. People who have been investing for years, 40 plus years, I'm talking. They're not just going to immediately switch all of their growth that they have been saving up for retirement into a quote unquote risky asset like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency because they think, oh, it's too volatile, it's too new, I don't know if I trust it yet. So, or they don't understand the fundamentals. Like, yeah, I heard of Bitcoin and crypto and oh, those words, those technical words, they sound very interesting, but I don't know what it's about. They don't do their research, they don't understand what the projects are about. So they're probably not going to invest into it. That's fine. We don't need $12 trillion. What we need is another $2 trillion. You'll double the price of Bitcoin to $200,000. That's all it really needs, right? Which puts back into the availability that, yes, Bitcoin can hit much higher numbers this cycle. It can hit the 150K. It can hit the 175. It can hit the 200 or the 180,000. Sorry, the 200, 220,000. That's, I think, the most I've seen price targets for crypto from 180 to 220,000. That puts those numbers back in question for this year. It can absolutely happen. I'm not Unc. I'm not describing myself, Bradley, okay? I know I'm just... You're going to invest into gold. I'm going to be investing in Bitcoin, man. I'm just telling you this is where the rate of return is best going to be at. It seems like right now Bitcoin is moving so slow because it's just such a massive asset. It's going to get much bigger. And by the way, gold, I know you're probably going to tell me gold is at all-time highs. We'll talk about gold later today as well. There's some news I have about it. But that's what I wanted to bring up with this whole 401k, why it's super important. Stuff I've talked about before. I didn't know it was going to get signed today. There was like one post talking about it earlier today. Like, yeah, by the way, later today, Trump might sign this 401k retirement thing. I thought it was bogus. We already knew that stuff. But is it actually going to get signed? And, well, yeah, it actually did get signed. So there you go. It's officially in effect. Trump allowing retirement accounts to save Bitcoin is big news. Great president, great leader, says Robert Kiyosaki. And crypto czar David Sachs says the executive order President Trump signed today, it will give 90 million Americans access to crypto. 90 million people entering the trenches. I don't know if it's, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, not all of those people will be entering at the same time. It's going to be a gradual transition, of course. So we just got to give it some time. But the numbers will come, of course. Unless something devastating happens and nobody trusts in it anymore, which I don't think that will happen. Also, tariffs. Seems like they're not a bad thing as a lot of people expected. It's been revealed that despite President Trump's tariff, a whopping 82% of S&P 500 companies beat their quarterly earnings estimates because we just had a lot of earnings that came back recently. It's earnings season right now. And it's been the highest rate in 4 years. So experts were wrong on that again. It seems like, you know, tariffs are not a bad thing after all. Who's saying you're not investing in both, Bradley? I think you can't invest in either. You're too young, but one day you will. Trump also had a comment to make about Intel CEO. He said the CEO of Intel is highly conflicted and must resign immediately. There is no other solution to this problem. Thank you for attention to this matter. I actually don't know what the context is about. Like, it just seems like a random attack. So it's Lip Bu Tan was called for his immediate resignation by Trump, labeling him highly conflicted over investments in Chinese companies. Okay, there you go. That's the reason. Some tied to Chinese military, per Reuters' April 2025 report. Senator Cotton raised national concerns, and this caused Intel Corporation shares to drop 5% in the pre-market. Interesting. So I didn't know that. I thought Intel was going to be like that one company the United States would focus on and would bring back from its misery, because Intel's stock price, it was taking a hit before Trump even got into office, right? And people thought, okay, Trump getting inaugurated and everything, hey, yes, it's going to be a good thing. Trump is going to focus more on American companies, especially in the technological sector. It should give a good benefit to Intel. But they had a change of CEOs. The company started doing bad in terms of their quarterly reports and everything. And the stock price crashed. It did recover a little bit. I did have some invested in there from the recoveries. But it seems like everything just dropped once again. Not as significant as April 7, though. April 8, April 9. We've seen worse prices than what we're currently seeing right now. But a dip is a dip nonetheless, and it looks really good. Bad earnings over here caused a huge price drop for it. I think I'll remove this. I don't think I need it. And these, yeah, I don't need these anymore. I don't invest in the company anymore, by the way. Great. So that's what we got for Intel. I wonder if he will resign, and if somebody else will come in. Maybe they'll get the same Nvidia and Apple treatment. Nvidia and Apple, of course, are doing really well so far. We're noticing that they're putting in a lot of investment into the United States, and Trump is kind of saving them from this whole tariff stuff. Especially what we saw yesterday being announced, the 100% tariffs on semiconductors. Nvidia and Apple are exempt from this, especially after Apple's extra $100 billion investment in the United States, bringing the total to $600 billion. Talk about that in a second. Speaking of semiconductors, I have a new insider trade to share with you guys. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Democrat from Florida, has bought stock in a company called Ichor. Ichor, is it Ichor or Ichor? They design components for semiconductor capital equipment, and it's the first time we've seen a politician buy the stock in over 8 years. They will be keeping an eye on ICHR. We've noticed this lady also makes some more suspicious purchases, some of them on Viasat and Palantir. A lot of congressmen and women were buying Palantir stock, and I mean, today it's still hitting all-time highs, so I mean, good on them, Palantir. Just making higher and higher moves every time. And VSAT is the ticker of it, also just made, is this an all-time high? No, it's huge recovery though. And these people were buying since November of last year. Right over here, this low point is when these insider trader rumors were made. And look where it is right now. I'm not saying this is a guaranteed return or anything, but now we have this scenario with ICHR, which we're at all-time lows. Not all-time, but like we haven't seen these levels since the pandemic and since close to its IPO, right? I did a bit of analysis on my own, of course, before investing in the company. Yeah, I did invest in it. There's still some stuff to be careful with, right? What is it called? I have to pull it up again. I know it in Spanish, but I don't know it in English, and this happens to me all the time. I hate myself. eCore systems, eCore. How do you pronounce this? I'm pulling out the translator. Translate. No, other way around. English.
iCore.
iCore. Okay, it's not eCore, it's iCore. So iCore, they have, or was it the debt of $0.17 billion compared to the cash on hand, $0.11 billion. So they have more debt than cash on hand at the current moment, which is a bit of a bad thing. They missed their quarterly reports recently, right? So that's why stock is kind of on its way down over here. But the whole semiconductor thing that Trump has announced, the 100% tariffs on semiconductors, we might be looking for other alternatives if Taiwan stops making deals with us. But I spoke why Taiwan is important and why they're probably just going to suck up the 100% tariff and deal with it because they have no other choice. They have to protect their whole country depends on it practically, right? From it being invaded from China. They need the United States to back them up in a war if that does happen. So they're not coming to the United States. They're just going to have to eat up the tariff. We're going to have to look for other alternatives. This company, iCore, will be making, this is right here, right? Manufacturing fluid delivery for semiconductor capital equipment. Like, I don't know. I'm not a semiconductor expert, but there you go. That's my little analysis on it. Speaking of China, the US is likely to extend China deadline for another 90 days. We just keep on extending and extending that China thing, so there we go. According to Howard Lutnick, at least. It's not confirmed. Might be the case. Yeah. Apple. This is the whole story with Apple. They decided to begin moving iPhone production from China to India to avoid the 140% tariffs. That's something I spoke about yesterday, right? 1 month later, President Trump threatened to impose a 25% tariff on iPhones not made in the US. After that situation settled down, Apple decided to announce a $600 billion investment in the United States to support Trump's trade initiatives. Hours later, Apple received news that tariffs on India are rising to 50% because India buys Russian oil. After months of shifting manufacturing from China to India, the entire initiative was effectively made worthless by that single executive order, right? Apple has become pawn in the trading war. Largely in a lose-lose position. As a result, they announced a $600 billion investment in the United States to appeal to Trump. However, the tech giant remains far from the clear. And this is because they have to move entirely from India to the United States because India is now caught up in this mess with, you know, the ceasefire that Trump is trying to make with between Russia and Ukraine, of course, trying to pressure Russia economically to get them expediting on that process. And it seems like it's probably working, guys. This is also bullish news piece, bullish for Bitcoin. Putin says that he wants to meet with Trump in the United Arab Emirates. According to him, that is a suitable place for a meeting between the two leaders. This is recently stated, by the way. Post came out today. Putin also stated that he is not against negotiations with Zelensky, but certain conditions must be created for this to happen. We also have Ushakov. I don't know who this guy is. Who is Ushakov? Russia. I don't know. Former Soviet diplomat who served as the ambassador of Russia in the United States to the United States from 1998 until 2008. So that's this guy right over here. He says that the United States have made an offer that is quite acceptable to us, to Russia. Maybe the Ukraine war may end next week. So we've got some incredible developments going on. We're wondering what concessions could be made. Hey, maybe Trump indeed goes back to the Emirates to discuss this with Putin, and maybe even Zelensky gets in there as well. Because also next week, that's when the 12 days are up. On Sunday, I did the math. Sunday, that's when the 12 days that Trump said, you guys got 10 or 12 days. I'm reducing the deadline from 50 days for you guys to make a ceasefire deal. And, I mean, the pressure with India, raising the tariffs on India because they seemed unbothered by it. It's a defiant move, but it seems like it's headed in the right direction. So we'll see where that takes us next week. Great. Coinbase posted this, whatever this is. And it has to do with Grok Imagine. If you don't know Grok Imagine, new update rolled out for Grok where now you can make AI videos, right? It's free for a while, I think is what they said, but it's ultimately comes with the premium subscription with X. So Coinbase posted this saying that put this legend into life, and Elon Musk reposted this. Elon Musk reposting Bitcoin stuff. We've seen Elon Musk give little subtle hints that he is now pro-Bitcoin. He talked about it with America Party embracing that. He talked about it with, well, he didn't talk about it. He liked a post of somebody saying, hey, we haven't heard Elon Musk talk about Bitcoin in a while. And somebody replied saying, oh, maybe he's just secretly accumulating Bitcoin and we just don't know about it. And Elon Musk liked that post. So maybe he is secretly accumulating Bitcoin. We don't know. And also Bitcoin is, there's energy efficient ways to mine it now. That was one of the excuses of why Elon said Tesla wouldn't buy or accept Bitcoin as payments. I think something along the lines of that. Because of course Tesla is a green energy car and they don't want to support something that isn't green energy, clean energy, whatever you want to call it. So there's that. Who knows, maybe he will be publicly embracing Bitcoin once again, but there's these subtle hints that he's dropping here and there. Funny. Trump Jr., of course, also completely endorsing crypto in general, the decentralization, saying that the financial system is undemocratic because of, you know, debanking, people getting sued, you're getting shut out of legacy finance. Crypto is the solution to all of that. Tesla isn't actually good for the environment. Well, tell me why. Because I genuinely don't know, nor do I care. I hate cars. I dislike cars. You know me. I know you like cars, so, and you hate Tesla though, so yeah, let me know. Speaking of Bitcoin accumulating and stuff like that, Ryan Cohen, I bet this guy feels bad, miserable. I called on Ryan Cohen to buy Bitcoin at 74K. I said this. Go back on one of my streams. I talked about it. I called on the United States to sell all their gold from Fort Knox to buy Bitcoin. I called on Ryan Cohen from GameStop. You got $8 billion in cash. Buy Bitcoin with it. He only raised like $1 billion, I think. He didn't even use it to buy Bitcoin. He only bought $500 million in Bitcoin after having extensive talks with a bunch of pro-Bitcoin people and Michael Saylor himself. No, he only bought $500 million in Bitcoin. Well, guess what? He unfollowed all Bitcoin accounts. They still hold $8.5 billion in cash, and they only had 500 million in Bitcoin. You know what? It's not too bad, I guess, 500 million, but come on, you had 8 billion, man. You could have done so much more. What is GameStop doing right now? Look at this price action. I'm gonna have faith in this. Anyway, I wasn't even wanting to look at the chart. I wanted to look at this. Cash on hand, GME. Yeah, 6 billion, 8 billion. I swear these numbers change every time. Which one is it? Whatever. They have a lot of money. They're not buying Bitcoin. You should have when I told you to. Whatever. I actually want to fact check this. Ryan Cohen. One following. Yeah, he's only following just the GameStop company itself. He pulled out GameStop from Canada, by the way. We're awesome. He's fully American. We also have SharpLink Gaming. They're doing the right stuff, raising $200 million to buy more Ethereum. That's a good idea. But it still slightly bothers me the fact that if you're going to make a strategic reserve, do Bitcoin, probably not Ethereum. Ethereum can be inflationary, man. Bitcoin is not. It's a hedge against inflation. It's the one coin that will never go away, you know? But Ethereum is most trusted by investors anyway, institutions, so it makes sense for, I guess, the next option. They don't want to buy Bitcoin. Sure, you can buy Ethereum. That's what they're doing. Yeah, GameStop, I'll admit, they made all that money rogging their investors. Like, literally look at all this. Thanks to Roaring Kitty, of course, and Redditors in 2021 thought, haha, we pumped stock funny. So, happened a couple times. Yeah, it's probably where they made all their money. I'll agree with that. More news for Robinhood users. Floki and Ondo. I don't know how those aren't listed there, but yeah, they're listed now. Ripple is going to be acquiring a stablecoin platform, Rail, for $200 million. And that is not that's not what's pushing XRP price action today. That was the SEC case, which, sure, that's taken care of. Now they're free to do whatever they want. I guess they're going to be working more on their RLUSD coin. It's likely what the case is going to be. Chainlink launches a Chainlink reserve to build a strategic link token reserve. Cool. That's redundant words, but yeah, that's likely the drive behind this price action on Chainlink. That's the news I had to share for it. Binance now letting European users convert crypto to fiat and withdraw directly to MasterCard with near instant access. Good for on-ramping and off-ramping. It's the kind of stuff we want to see. And here's the gold stuff that I want to talk about. Trump imposed tariffs on 1 kilo gold bars, according to FT. And that caused gold prices to surge above 3,500 an ounce, which was their all-time high. It entered a new record high territory. This puts gold prices up 43% over the last 12 months, which is more than doubling the S&P 500's return. So congratulations for people who love gold. It's going good. I want to find gold here. That's 3,382. What? Okay, I guess I'm lying. What is this? This has got to be fake. Oh, it's gold futures. Okay. Maybe that's why. I'm looking at gold, like, on its own CFD. What do you even call this? Because the highest point was 3,500 flat. Like, I remember this. We did not cross that yet. I don't know. But it's on the rise anyway. I know, right? You're such a boomer, Bradley, for investing in gold. And ChatGPT 5 is coming soon. You see that little animation thing? Last thing, this is just a big meme right now, this whole Canada situation. Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston announces that citizens are now banned from entering the woods, including hiking. This also includes camping. You're not allowed to walk on trails. You're not allowed to walk your dog in the woods. Effective August 5, violators can be fined $25,000. Wait, is 5 already out? I thought it was just an announcement for ChatGPT. No, it's not working. Whatever. Yeah. The reason why they're banning people from entering the woods in Nova Scotia is because it's dry, is what they said. You're causing a risk of wildfires, and we don't want to deal with that stuff. So some people kind of understand it, but other people are like, okay, come on, but it's summer. Like, we deserve to go enjoy the woods. Like, especially in a public national park. Like, let us just wander around. We're not going to smoke a cigarette and drop it in a dry bush somewhere. But yeah, anyway. Some clownery going on there. Bitcoin's dropping. All right, so we did not hit the 200 that I was hoping to hit today. Whatever. Nonetheless, I took profits on, what was it, Chainlink? Yeah, that was good. I will drop thousands in next time, I promise. Hola Nasi, how are you, sir? You're late to the party, man. I'm about to end this stream, so yeah, whatever. Watch replay if you really care. Alright, that'll be it for me today. I'm about an hour stream already. Okay. A lot of big news today, so it's been great. No economic data. I thought this week was going to be dead and slow. I was unenthusiastic to do anything, but we got some good news coming out. That 401k stuff, XRP SEC case closed, no more repeals, Link reserves, Ethereum reserves. Yeah. So it's been great. We'll see what tomorrow brings us. Honestly, I think I got to start looking up like a Trump calendar. What is Trump going to do? Is he going to go anywhere? Is he planning to sign anything? Is he going to be speaking at any time? I think that's like the most important thing. Forget everything you know about price action. Throw all your books in the garbage and whip out your phone, download Truth Social and watch it. Rather you're not right about gold. Bitcoin is going to outpace gold. It is what it is. All right. Yeah, that'll be the end of the stream. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you have a good evening. And